I'm one of those people that's very optimistic. The house could be on fire. I'm like, fire, we can make it work.
Oh, 10 years at Nextier. How does that make you feel?
10 years is a long time. But how do I feel? I feel accomplished, but it's also gone by so fast.
Okay, so let's rewind to the very beginning. We've heard Patrick tell the story of how he met you. Let's say you always heard of the story. Let's see if it's the same story.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I was very fortunate to work for Professor Chinedu Nebo, Minister of Power, 2013 to 2015. Worked through the privatization process and all the things that went with the new power sector. Fortunately for me, I worked with a very amazing lady called Mrs. Awele Okibo.
Oh.
In room 505 of Federal Secretariat to Ministry of Power. Worked there for 2 years, and there was always a guy who came in probably a couple times a year, big, tall, very, gray beard, very forceful. I'm like, who is this guy? But unbeknownst to me, that's Patrick Okibo the third. So we met informally in that setting, and he always used to have these events of this, that, conversations, this at the RDOS Center. So I came to a few of those, and I was very impressed with the kind of knowledge work the firm did. 2015 comes, the election doesn't go the way of PDP, so all of us as ministers' aides, our role ends, right? So we're now looking for the next thing. I've been back in country for 2 years, and I'm like, well, this has been a really good experience. It's time to go back to America. I'm tired, let's go. I'm making plans, and Professor Chidionya calls me and says, hey, Awele's husband is trying to grow out his power firm for next year. You should talk to him. Oh. Actually, no, Prof doesn't call me, sorry. I'm attending Joyce's wedding in Lagos. And Prof meets me, being a big guy. I walk him out to his car. And he goes, yeah, call Patrick. He's trying to do something with Nextier power on those. You just call him. I'm like, okay, Prof. Out of respect, I called him. Got on the phone. I literally remember the phone call. Hey, I got your number from Prof. I call Awele, and Awele goes, oh yeah, here's Patrick's number, call him. I call Patrick. Patrick goes, oh yeah, let's meet, let's have a conversation. We meet at Salamander, which used to be on Libreville. And we sit down, talk through power sector, talk through what the plan was to get consulting work and really have localized firms doing work in the sector. Sounds all good and well, bro, but $500, 500 Naira to $1. My mortgage is $2,000 a month. I'm not sure what we're talking about here. Make it make sense.
Right.
But we leave that meeting, meet again at Sheraton, in the restaurant area in Sheraton. He and I are sitting down. We order coffee and whatever. We're sitting down talking, and he goes, all the experience you've gained here for the last 2 years, when you leave and go back to America, what will you do with it?
That, yeah.
Patrick, that's irrelevant. What's relevant is this mortgage company keeps sending me a mortgage for every month for my house in the States. But jokes aside, I really thought through it and I said, let's really push to see what this could look like. So, and I told him, I'll give this a year and let's see what happens. But more importantly, and I head back to America like around June or July that year. And my parents, in their mind, are like, all right, cool. Good luck is lost. You guys are out of the job. You're moving back to America, right? And I'm like, no, I'm staying in Nigeria to work with Nextier and Patrick Okpukpara. Like, who is this guy? So, yeah, I hope that's the same story.
Yeah, it is the same story. So this was you having blind faith in Patrick and Nextier. So every journey or every worthwhile journey comes with its fair share of challenges. You would agree, right? So what were some of the biggest challenges in those early years?
I walked into Nextier July 2nd, 2016. Meanwhile, I had signed a contract to work with someone else around that same period. And this was just, hey, come to the office and kind of check it out. But I get there, I sit down, and the vibe is just different. It's people just hungry for work. There's Eniwo, there's AGK, there's Tenny, and there's Taiwo. The analysts who were on the team, I walk in to number 41 Libreville. There's Patrick is at the extreme end, the desk in the middle is empty, and I'm at the far end. A few hours later, a gentleman walks in, Mr. Charles Achudo. He walks in and sits down. We start talking, and I'm just enamored by the experience he's had. GIZ, the World Bank, all the stuff he's done. Like, it's incredible. I'm like, okay, if this Mr. Akiwo guy can attract
Charles
to sit here, okay, let's see, let's push to see what can happen. And I think for me, those early years were just a bit of confusion of like what to do and how to do it. But it's an elephant. You got to it's one bite at a time. You can't say I'm going to solve it all. You got to figure out, small chunks.
Yeah, I'm sure there were times where you thought, damn, this is going to be harder than I thought. Who sent me? Yeah, I'm sure you had those moments.
We did when we, probably when I joined July 2nd, the first Power Dialogue was July 23rd or 24th. So imagine putting on a sector-wide event that had never been done before, and you're just telling people to come and talk about the sector and just come and hang out. What? People were so flabbergasted that you wanted to just have a conversation, and it wasn't a ministry event. It wasn't done by a development partner. In fact, my first couple of meetings actually at Nextier was at NIAF 2, Buchanan Street office, right next to Banex. Like, hey guys, Power Dialogue sponsored. They're like, nah, we're good.
Right. And that was the first edition, so you didn't even have anything.
We didn't have anything, but it was, those days were challenging.
Yeah.
And I remember at the end of the month, I got an alert. I'm like, hell? Patrick, what is this? He goes, yeah. Gotta put phone in your car. I'm like, I appreciate it. So those few months were very stressful, but very rewarding because they laid out the path for where we're going. But let me tell a funny story. So I joined in July. I go to America, come back. My parents actually visit Nigeria in that period. They like, who's this guy? Going to meet him. They sit with him. We have breakfast at Charcoal in Wusetu. We, good. They're like, okay, yeah. They're like, well, we don't quite agree, but you're an adult. Enjoy your life.
Sure.
So they go back. So around September, October, one morning I'm in the office and I hear people saying, "Oh, we're gonna knock this down and do this and do this." I said, "You're gonna knock this building down?"
Your building?
And I was like, actually, he goes, "Yeah, they're the landlord's people." I'm like, "Oh, wait, this guy hasn't paid his rent. What's going on? What's happening? How?" But a day before that, Patrick used to have like this massive like BlackBerry, like the big one, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Can you help me recharge?" I'm like, "Wait, you don't have money to recharge your phone? What's going on? You can't pay your rent,
Oh my God,
and you can't recharge your phone. And I've now left my destiny in your hands. Ha! Please, oh."
Are you still staying?
So when he told me, "Oh yeah, go out and like let's find a new place," the landlord wants to take over the place.
Yeah.
Are you mad? Me find a new place when you can't do the basic things. I'm back. I walk around. So I said no, I'm not gonna do it. And then we ended up in 5 Close, where we've been for the last 9 years. And it's just those small things are where the first. I was like, am I sure? But
I'm curious. With all of this happening, some people would just take off like, "Nah, I'm not cut out for this." But what convinced you, that this was worth building before we move on to, the good parts?
I'm one of those people, fortunately actually, that's very optimistic.
Right.
The house could be on fire. I'm like, fire, we can make it work. That's my approach to a lot of things. And those early days were just a matter of being very optimistic and never, because a lot of people picture bad days, but no one sits and pictures like the most amazing day. And I have that skill. I'm like, you know what? We can make this work. Like, there's no one else doing this. We can make it work.
Great. Okay. So, as with every organization, right? Reach a point where things begin to change. So, was there a defining moment when you realized Nextier had become something bigger?
They probably 4 or 5. There's an email that Nextier Okpukpara, who at that time was at Ministry of Finance, sends and goes, "Oh yeah, Power Africa is looking for some gas to power consultants to Patrick." Patrick copies me in, and we recommend a few people, Blizzia Mado and a few other guys. And that email seemed, and it's actually hilarious, it's actually to my Gmail, not to my Nextier email, because at that point I wasn't fully in the system. But that moment was one moment that I think it's quite defining, because it shaped from a program that we're just supposed to provide gas consultants for to a program where we won, when Deloitte won, and we held Deloitte down on that program for a 6-year period in Nigeria. So for me, that moment was a bit of, and I guess I'm telling the easy side, that moment was the email came through, we sent some consultants, but then when we realized that we wanted to partner with Deloitte full time, every trip to America, I would show up in DC first and go meet with Deloitte. Hey, Kathy, I'm in town. Hey, Colin, I'm in town. Let's have a conversation. Let's really build on what this program could be for the Nigerian power sector. So for me, that was a defining moment that kind of shifted the work. And maybe another one, actually. October 2016, Power Dialogue, July, August, September, October, number 4. A gentleman walks in with a few Caucasian people, Dr. Kole Shatima, MacArthur Foundation. And they sit down at Thought Pyramid towards the back on just the Nigerian power sector, listening about the topic. They leave there. We get a phone call from Kole saying, you should think through how you can support the foundation in their On Nigeria work. So Patrick and I spent the next 3 or 4 weeks thinking through it. We then designed the On Nigeria program that had briefings with senators, articles in the newspaper, the Power Dialogue, Electricity Hub, all sorts of things. So those 2 moments, I think, were the moments that I was like, okay, I see a small pathway here.
All right, so let's build on these success stories. However you felt then. So looking back, which relationships have had the biggest impact on Nextier's growth? People, partnerships, you mentioned Deloitte. So 10 years from when you started.
Deloitte was huge. Because we were able to implement Power Africa for 6 years.
Right.
COVID, X1, all that while we're still able to implement it. And Tetra Tech with NIAF and now Spring on the SPD side and hopefully NGF as well. So those two companies, I think, were very critical to where we are today. But a lot of the times, the path we took was very deliberate. I worked in Ministry of Power. I have relationships with directors at Ministry of Power, but we never got to engage on like a contractual basis. Not because I don't want to work with the government, but because I felt that it's so much better working from a prism of a third party being your payer and you're helping the government institution change. So we've enjoyed relationships at NERC, Ministry of Power, MBEDS, TCN, from a point of view of we're coming here to help. Yeah. We're not trying to take your allocation from federal government. We're just here to come and help your work, because the general theme is we're here to build a society that we all want to live in.
So 10 years is a long time and a lot can happen outside the office too, right? So during this 10 years, you got married and started a family. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, when I first joined the firm, Patrick would always tell me, whoever you marry is the most important decision you'll make in your life.
He still says that. He still tells us that.
At that point, as a stupid 31-year-old, I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's it. How's that important? But the woman I married has shaped who I am today. And also, just from a family point of view, it's made all this is important. But you realize at the end of the day, like, spending time with your family is more important than work. But there's a flip side to it. You got to work to enjoy that time with the family.
Yeah.
So I met my wife 2017, and through a mutual friend who worked on the NIAF2 program. It's funny how that works. And through that, we went through the dating process, got married, had a year of just being with each other. Then COVID happened. Oh, but then again, we got pregnant. So we had to go to America. We had our first daughter out in the States. And then over the last, 6 or so years, we've been kind of figuring out where home is. But thankfully, home now is in Abuja, Nigeria.
Awesome. And throughout this time, you're still focused on building Nextier. I mean, it should. How was it? I mean, just for somebody out there who has starting a family and also has to build a business, before we move on from this question, what is that one thing you would tell a family person who, starting to build something, but then is also trying to build a home?
Communication with both your partners on the firm side and also your partner at home, and saying, by the way, sorry, for the next X, Y, and Z, this is what the issues are. And also saying, I need to do this at work because X, Y, and Z. So I think it's the communication bit, but I also think it's just what entrepreneurs what entrepreneurship does is that it provides you with the life that you potentially could live if and only if you put in the work now.
I agree. So, 10 years later, when...
You said 10 years quite a lot.
I know. When you look back, what makes you the proudest? I mean, is there a project or an achievement that stands out for you?
I think it's the people.
Oh, yeah.
By far. Like, the projects come and go. Projects are great, but at the end of the day, you've got a buyer and you've got someone who has a contract or someone who has a piece of work that wants you to do the work. That's mundane, but it's the people. Throughout this journey, we have people who are at the World Trade Organization, AFDB, FCDO, Harvard graduates, Berkeley graduates, MIT graduates. You've got people who are literally everywhere in the value chain. And you see people who come into the firm and they leave with just a different level of thinking and also a different approach to who they are as a person. I was thinking back through probably hired 50 to 80 people since I've been at Nextier. And I can't think of anyone who has left, who has gone to a random mom and pop shop. They've all elevated to different things. And for me, they've all been set up to live better lives, more fulfilled lives, and more achievements because they're now in a different sphere. So for me, it's the people. It's not about all this NIAF and the World Bank and IFC and South Africa. Good. I love those projects, but for me, it's the people.
People. Okay, I had a conversation with Patrick. For those of you who don't know, Patrick is Nextier's founding partner. So yeah, I had a conversation with Patrick a while ago, and I asked him why he's doing this or what his purpose was. And then he said when he started Nextier, his goal was to ensure that nobody left him the same way. So if I'm encountering Patrick, your life should change in some way. And up till date, that's still something that he hopes happens. So you meet Patrick and you leave a changed person. What is that thing for you? So beyond the work you do at Nextier, fantastic work, by the way. When people encounter you, what is that one thing that makes you keep going, aside from just the work you do, personally for you?
There's something around being audacious and being bold. A lot of times, Nigerians, Africans, people in this third world or this developing world, as you know, is the right speak, feel that they're not worthy. Why? So I want someone to, when you work with me for X number of days, months, years, to now say, why not us? Why not now? So that's, for me, that's the goal. It's not, I don't care about people saying, oh, these people are doing it. Do they have 7 heads?
Yeah.
We can do it. Like, it's not that. When we were talking about NIAF, all the other naysayers like, how you got, we said, why not? So it's that being able to be a bit audacious and just being able to like know the price and go and get it.
10 years.
10 years again. We said 10 years so many times.
Just this last time. Okay,
you sure?
So yeah, I promise.
Okay.
10 years is an important milestone, but it is also the beginning of the next chapter. What excites you most about the future of Nextier, and what legacy do you hope Nextier continue to build?
So when I think through 10 years, what really excites me about what we've accomplished if we paid attention in my earlier conversation, we had 7 people, including me when I joined at Nextier. We now have 65 human beings who work at the firm, and we've grown exponentially since that year of 2016. As we move into this next frontier, the real goal is not around getting stuff done, because we've also realized that a lot of the advisory is fantastic. People want your advice, X, Y, and Z, but it's in the doing that people really are able to see the value you bring. So we've built out a few things. We've built out the media team, the TEH team that's really focused around doing media conferences. We've built out Nextier Media. We've also built out Always On. That's really focused around how to get power to the people, to the last mile. Rooftop solar, mini grids, interconnected conversations. We've also built out NWEC. That's around how to harness wind potential in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's not forget the very fantastic reading culture we have.
We've got the book club. Who was the first person in the first book club?
I wasn't here.
It was me.
It was you.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It was a book
what book
on Brazil. And 2019. No. Yes, 2019 January. It was a book on Brazil, and the book club is now almost 60 editions. No, what am I saying? Almost 12 times 6, almost 80 editions in, and every month. We just finished one earlier today, and it's really focused around just having people read and really have intellectual conversations on what they've read. So the firm is shifting, but at the core of it all, you've got to be a knowledge firm.
Yeah.
Nothing separates what we're doing from a lot of consulting firms unless you're a knowledge firm and you're able to show by the knowledge you have, not by, I know the technical. Technicals are great, but if you're able to apply for a real world example, that separates you. So I think for us, Nextier over the last 2 years have kind of pivoted. Yes, we'll do consulting. Yes, we'll do advisory. But now there's a few other things: the wind conversation, the solar conversation, and also just really looking around. How do you amplify some of the work that's being done in the power sector?
And the Power Dialogue has been around for
100 and I've lost count.
Me too. Over 100 episodes.
I guess so. We're 10 years in, right? July this year. Yeah, July this year is 10 years in. So we're 120 episodes into the Power Dialogue, which is a monthly discuss, brings everyone together from the minister to senators to governors to different people who really control different parts of the sector.
Yeah. Finally. Well, I'm not sure if it's finally, but yeah. I mean, I'm having so much fun to hear about the journey. I don't want it to end, but it has to end. Every good thing must come to an end, sadly. If you could sit with Emeka, who met Patrick 10 years ago, or who walked into that building, sees 6 people sitting, if you could talk to that Emeka, what is that one piece of advice you'd give him?
Audacity. Audacity.
Audacity.
Audacity. Always audacity. There's so many times where I was like, how? What? But just gotta be audacious and say, no, we can do this.
Yeah.
And you gotta be able to do it. But more importantly, it's just to say, put your head down and keep working. And people will come and say, I want to work with you because you've shown that you can get stuff done.
Okay, so this brings us to the end of our chats with Emeka as he marks his 10th-year anniversary with the Nextier team. Final thoughts. What do you want to say? to anybody about next year, whatever it is, do you have any final words, final thoughts?
You know, I've been fond of civil servants for doing this, but I'm gonna do it. In this piece of like saying thank you to different people, but thank you to Patrick.
Yes, thank
because he was very intentional in what he wanted to build, and he was very aware of the risk. But he said, "Why not? Why not? Why not us? Why not now?"
He still does that.
Yeah, and we've been able to do a number of amazing things just because of that attitude of we could get this done.
We can do it.
A book we always reference is I've forgotten the author's name, but the book is called Why Must White Boys Have All the Fun? And it's about a stockbroker in New York back in the 80s who came and really just revolutionized what the market was for African Americans. So in that same vein, it's what it is for me. It's like, why not us? Why not now? Like, we can do this. So I think that's the attitude that I really admire at the firm. And it's also one that I'm very focused on in my guys as well, who work on the power team. Like, guys, listen, we can do this. The other people that are doing it, they're not magicians. We can do it. Then I think on the side of just people who want to start their own business, is just being able to have a real mental focus on what it is you want to do and just laser in and stay there. Unfortunately, fortunately, actually, Nigeria is like the Garden of Eden. There's so many opportunities.
Yeah.
But the problem is, once you stick your teeth into something, if you're not careful, you're going to end up so sucked into one thing, you won't have time to do other things as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of my friends come to me and say, "Oh, let's do this." I'm like, please, oh, I understand power, and this is my lane. Because I know that once you revolutionize the power sector, the country works.
Fantastic. Thank you, Emeka. This was fun.
It was different.
It was different. It was fun. Let's do this again in
10 years.
10 years. Well,
Deal? Let's check on the phone.
Off camera, I do. I thought this would be the last question, but your colleagues want me to ask you TH or NWEC.
How?